Hey guys, guess who's back? I am feeling a lot better, as you would see in my other video that I posted on Tuesday. I got my second vaccine shot and I felt the side effects, which is perfectly fine, of course. But I am back. Thank you for those who are praying for me. And, I just thank God for family, support, and friends. That's been very, very helpful. Granted, I was in bed by myself. It was very helpful, though. I definitely appreciate having family around, having friends around. It definitely, and just loved ones, it definitely makes you feel comforted. So I do pray for all of you who have not gotten your vaccines yet, that are like me, that waited till the ninth hour, or have decided not to get it at all. Just continue to be mindful and cautious, especially in this season. It definitely made me slow down, which gave me the title of this talk this evening, that you grow in the slow. So last week, towards the end of the week, the Lord was talking to me a lot about rest, how I need to rest, how I don't always need to jam pack my day. And I'm guilty to say that, like, I have a planner, and if something is not written every day of the week, it bothers me. Like, I will literally sit there and try to find something that I could be doing to put on my planner. Like, I don't care if it's something simple as go to lunch with a friend, paint my nails, vacuum, laundry, whatever. I will legit find something to write down so I have something to do. And the Lord was really just getting on me about, I need to rest. Like, I need to take some time down to just lay in bed. I need to just take some time down to just relax and to just enjoy myself. And I really just was like, okay, God, okay. So I started moving things around in my planner, not being, obedient, but being Jen obedient, right? Instead of clearing my day, I just took off the 17 things like I had on Tuesday and I spread them out on Thursday and Friday, because the end of the week is usually lighter for me. And then, I'll do a couple things on Saturday instead of just resting. And I really heard the Lord when I was like, I need to rest, because in that time, and even in my alone time with God at the end of the week, He was telling me, and I heard the Lord tell me clearly, that we have a temple, we are called, we all have a purpose, but what good is it if our bodies are not in good standing or in good position? We ask God for a business, He gives us a business, but we're running ourselves to the ground that we can't even focus and think straight when we're reading paperwork. We can't even focus and think straight when we're in meetings or in whatever may have you, interviews, if you're looking to hire people. We ask God for all these things, but yet we don't take care of our bodies. We're sitting in these meetings barely paying attention because we're focusing on what's next or what we forgot to do, or we're just simply tired because we haven't had an adequate amount of sleep or good night's rest, or just had a morning where we can just stop, breathe, have a cup of coffee, have a cup of tea, eat a balanced breakfast or even a decent lunch. We ask God for all these things and to help us move, but we're not even taking care of the vessel, the physical vessel that He gave us. So in my Jen obedience, as I go back to that, I was resting and laying in bed. I remember even telling a friend last week, like, man, my goal this week was to sit down and watch TV while I ate dinner, because I couldn't even tell you the last time I've done that. Excuse me. It's really been a few weeks. So the Lord really, has put it on my mind, was putting it on my heart. Like, I do need to just chillax. I do need to sit down and have dinner in front of the TV and watch a movie. Sit down and, have dinner with some friends. Go out, and just relax at home sometimes, or just lay in the bed and watch Netflix or whatever may have you. I don't always need to have my laptop in front of me or my iPad next to me going through emails, going through certain documents. And it was crazy because when I scheduled my second COVID shot, everybody was like, you should schedule an appointment. You need to schedule an appointment. I'm like, no, walk in, walk in. That's what I did with the first one. You just walked in. They had extra vaccines, whatever. So then finally I was like, all right, let me call, since everybody, Pentecostals, 2 or 3, that's confirmation and the prophetic, right? So a lot of people kept telling me to schedule an appointment. So I did. So I scheduled it for Sunday, which was my 3 weeks on the 21 days. And I scheduled it for the evening. So I went to church, but something kept telling me not to go and not to leave church early, not to go to my appointment. But I was just like, this must be the enemy, right? Clearly not the voice of God. So I was like, this must be the enemy. Please tell me why I leave church. I'm literally 1 minute away from the CVS that I scheduled at. It was about a few miles from my place. And I get there. Well, I don't get there. I'm almost there, like literally, like next plaza over. And they call me to tell me that they ran out of vaccines. I call the CVS that I originally went to before this, and they ran out of vaccines. All these places, so I'm on CVS.com, all these places are running out of vaccines. So I'm like, all right, well, let me try the pharmacy at the grocery store, whatever. So, but the pharmacist that called me was just like, just come tomorrow. I'll make sure that there's a vaccine set for you. And I'm like, well, I don't get off of work till 4. And they were just like, nope, that's perfectly fine. We will make sure that we have one set aside for you since we ran out. I said, okay, cool, fine, whatever. So now I left church. I stopped at a couple places and I go home. I relax. I go and get my shot Monday and I come home. I'm a little tired. I kind of figured that would happen. Left it alone. Tuesday, I get to work. Of course, I'm prepping to do all these things. I literally had it prepped in mind to come on and do a TED talk on how we need to do rest, because that's what the Lord told me, that I needed to rest. I was really about to come on here with all my little being and tell y'all about rest, and the Lord laid me down to rest. Tuesday came. I had a headache. I really wasn't feeling well. I was just late for work. I still showed up to work. Around lunch, I was just like, nah, I need to go home. Of course, in Jen fashion, I ran an errand before I went home. And when I got home, I was like, all right, something's really not right. I really need to lay down. Rested for a little bit, grabbed my iPad, watched some Netflix, fell asleep, woke back up extremely hot, 101.6 fever and rising. I'm like, what is going on? Oh my goodness. I'm like, why is my body on fire, but I still have chills? Why am I so thirsty? Why is my head hurting? What is this? You're going through all these motions. So I had to chillax. Definitely spent the rest of the day in bed, was trying to have energy to push this TED talk out because I had to tell you guys about rest, right? Not paying attention that this was literally me needing to rest. I was so quick to come tell you guys about rest, not even paying attention about how my body needed rest and how I needed rest. Next day, it's Wednesday, voila. I get up, my body's hot again. I'm almost at 100 degrees. So we do screenings at work. If you're at 100, you shouldn't come in. I tapped in at 99.9. I text my boss, showed her the my thermometer. I was about to say thermometer. And I showed her I was temping close to 100. I temped again. It was 99.6. But I was still feeling like my head was hurting and not 100% my best. And she was just like, just take the day off. We'll see you, the next day. Just let your, assistant and aide know like what's going on. So I did that. And in that, I fell back asleep later that day. I took the day off. I texted a couple of my friends who were and family members who were checking in on me. I let them know that I was off, that I was just resting for today. And that's exactly what I did. I rested. I took 2 long naps. I got a couple of things done. I did run a couple errands. I went out and grabbed lunch, but I rested. And in that rest, I felt so much better. Every time I took a nap and fell asleep, every time I woke up, I felt a lot better. And then I took a late afternoon, early evening nap. Woke up feeling a lot better. Got a lot done. Felt a lot better. And it wasn't until later on in the evening that I just really felt like an unction to just spend some time with God, get in my prayer closet and just be alone. And that's when God really spoke to me in my worship and in with him, telling me that I need to slow down, that I grow more in the slow. Rome wasn't built in one day. When things grow, they grow slow. I have a plant that my friend gave me The plant didn't blossom overnight. It didn't sprout overnight. It was a slow process. I've had this plant for months, but it's now just blossoming. We have to slow down to grow. And yes, I know sometimes we have to move in the suddenly, and God is always calling us to be ready. There's nothing wrong with being ready. There's nothing wrong with moving in a suddenly, but you grow in the slow. God even told me that I'm doing what I need to do. I'm in my right position. I just need to slow down and not move ahead of him. Because when I move ahead of him, that's when I begin to mess things up. That there's certain people in my life that are there for a reason, but I'm not in a position to receive right now. And he clearly told me that because he was like, I need you to slow down before you mess this up, because you're not in a position to receive. But if you keep picking and trying to take what you know that is yours to receive, you won't know how to reap your harvest or harvest from it because you're not ready. It's just like when we pull a plant or a wheat or a crop before it's in its full bloom. Yes, it's there, but will it fulfill us and give us a fulfillment that it would have if we let it come to harvest? I hope this makes sense. My grandpa was a farmer, so like I know about planting. But there is a time and a season where it is time to harvest your crops. So yes, this crop is for me. Yes, you can pull some crops early before it's time, but it's not going to be at its right size. It's not going to be at its ripeness. It's not going to be at the position it needs to be. So I know this is for me, that I need to slow down so I can grow. But I don't know who else needs to hear this. Slow down. Yes, I know it's summertime. We're all trying to catch up. We didn't get to have a full summer last time. Last summer, I said last time. Last summer. Well, yeah, last time. We didn't get to get a full summer. But some of us really need to slow down in what we're doing. We're rushing to do all this. We're trying to make up for quote unquote lost time. But if God says it's for you, it's for you. I understand there's a window to be respective of. But when God tells you to move, you move, but you don't move before him. And you don't rush in the process. It's just like when we're going somewhere. If we leave a little early, or we pack and we take our times to pack, or we do whatever we need to in preparation, and we move wisely, we grow. We get to where we need to do. We are comfortable. We can breathe. One thing I always know and know for certain is when we're rushing and we try to have to make rash decisions, or we're moving quickly, that's not of God. God is never in a hurry. God walked everywhere. I was listening to something the other day, or a few weeks ago, not too long ago, and that's what really stuck with me. God walked everywhere. And it's hard for me to walk, especially as a runner. I feel like I need to run everywhere. But God walked everywhere. So I don't know, like I said, who needs to hear this, but slow your pace down. I know I need to slow my pace down. And as we enter this month of July, this new month, this 7th month, I'm literally making a conscious effort to slow down in everything that I'm doing. Because sometimes when we're in the hurry, that's when we rush back to what's comfortable because we're not seeing the results that we want to see. And I never want to go back to my comfort zone. I never want to go back to being comfortable. I always want to live in faith. I know it's scary. It's super scary, but I always want to live in faith and in obedience. Because obedience is always better than sacrifice. And with obedience comes abundance. And I know we were called to live in a life of abundance. But remember to slow down so you can grow. You grow in the slow, ladies and gentlemen. We grow in the slow. Have a good night. I pray this blesses you. I pray that you learn to slow down. I pray that you seek God with this word, of course, because I know this is not for everybody. But I do pray as this new month begins that each and every day that you embark on God's call and will for you. All right? I love you. Have a good night. I'm recording this at night, so have a good night or have a good day. I'm praying for you guys. All right.